We've talked about the abandonment of the individual and how YouTube has progressed into what is now corporatism, and Dailymotion shows the end game for what happens when individuals stop mattering, and it's all about corporate content and commercial content and never about what individuals have. So why should YouTube and Twitch support individuals? Well, we have to answer the very basic demographic question here. Why should anyone watch YouTube or Twitch? So let's say there is a lot of commercial content to the point where YouTube becomes the world's VCR. Now, in the days when piracy was more of a thing on YouTube and people are uploading Family Guy episodes all over the place, this was already the case. But now, even if it's legitimate via television shows being legitimately uploaded by rights holders, if there is no element of the individual, why should anyone watch YouTube or Twitch? Why should they watch if individuals can't amount to something? Very important question, because it is the ability to amount to something that makes these platforms interesting in the first place. And we know this because throughout the history of YouTube and Twitch, platforms without individuals being able to amount to something have already existed. Sometimes that's past tense. Here's some examples. People worry about Hulu falling into this category, but another popular platform that doesn't have UGC is Netflix. Yeah, you just watch your movies and shows on there, but there really is. How do you get on Netflix if you want to make content for it? Yeah, it's not like, say, setting up a YouTube account. Also, rebroadcasting sites like FOD. What does Fox stand for? What does that mean? Fox on Demand. I used to be a regular over there because the way it used to work was about around 2010, 2011 or so. I didn't have cable, wasn't really interested in having pay TV. There was only maybe 1 or 2 shows grand total that I was interested in on television. So what I would do is, nobody at work would ever talk about these shows, so it would not be a problem for me to wait a day, 2, 3, 4 days in order to watch a new episode of something like, say, Lie to Me, Dollhouse, Survivor over on CBS. So there were several shows that I watched via the internet on a rebroadcasting site. It didn't take something like YouTube or Twitch for me to do all of that stuff. So, getting back to the point that we made earlier, why should they watch if individuals can't amount to something? The answer is, see here. Let's actually bring this down another notch. Let's keep the ribbon on the screen permanently while we type this in. Then we'll get rid of it later. So, let's see here. There isn't a special reason to watch YouTube or Twitch over a commercial platform if individuals are snubbed. As it would help if I had PowerPoint on screen. There we go. Why should YouTube and Twitch support individuals? Let's go back to the previous slide. In case how long have I had this off the screen? Oh, man. So, why should YouTube and Twitch support individuals? Why would anyone watch anything? If individuals can't amount, there isn't a special reason to watch YouTube or Twitch over a commercial platform if individuals are snubbed. They are literally the same. So if YouTube just becomes a commercial platform, there's really no reason to watch Fox shows on YouTube if you can just go to some Fox thing. And this matters a lot in this day and age where rights holders, this matters a ton in this day and age where rights holders are streaming content directly. Talked about Motor Trend in the previous show. The other example of this would be Pluto TV, which is CBS Viacom. And of course, the recently launched Peacock TV, which is NBC Universal. And how could we forget Disney Plus being advertised all over the place? There's also ESPN Plus. So, rights holders are just building their own content delivery networks these days. So if YouTube and Twitch do not have a compelling independent reason that isn't tied to commercial content, which can be pulled from the platform at a moment's notice, Netflix people are very familiar with this, then there isn't a special reason for these sites to even exist. So, because of this, going all the way back to here, UGC, as it's called on Dailymotion, is critical to YouTube and Twitch continuing to exist. The draw to these platforms for people to become content creators, the draw to these platforms for people to become content creators is the ability to build themselves up. Discoverability, as some of the other commentators call this. So, in order to have this UGC, in order to have independent content creators, you need to have a draw. You need to have something that makes people want to use these platforms. And the only real way you can get an individual to create content is the ability to build themselves up. You're going to get recreational users. You're going to get people that just want to make videos or live stream for family and friends. But in terms of somebody who can have content that scales with that ever-present lifeblood of these platforms, these online media platforms, advertising, another hot issue over on Twitch, YouTube as well. Your best bet for individuals that you need to attract is the ability for individuals to build themselves up. If they feel like they're wasting their time on your platform, they may go somewhere else or just stop making content. And in that case, you have a problem with talent. So, because you're talking about content creators being critical to these platforms continuing to exist, nothing lasts forever, including the career of an independent content creator. Therefore, it is imperative that new people should always want to get started on your platform. Creators are going to come and go. You may have people decide they don't want to make content anymore. They may get too old to be popular. People don't like how they are. People change over time. So somebody's audience might stop liking someone because relationships come and go. People change over time, and some people don't like the way that people change. So, much like in the world of talent scouting and things like that, you always got to be on the lookout for the next big thing. Which means new people should always want to get started on your platform. And how do you do that? UGC, far from derogatory, like on Dailymotion, is critical to YouTube and Twitch continuing to exist. New people should always want to get started on your platform. You should always have this draw that says that a nobody can become somebody on one of these platforms. What does this lead to? It leads to an environment where you cannot go down this path. So, I would even say that Twitch should go backwards from favoritism back to broadcast yourself, individualism, as it were. Because that's what it's going to take. The point of all of this is commercial platforms exist. And when rights holders can pull their content and start their own platform, or get bought out by a large media conglomerate that runs its own platform, you can't rely on commercial content. I'm very, very curious what happens to Dailymotion in the next couple of years. Because Dailymotion is the case study right now in what happens when the individual completely stops mattering on one of these platforms.